lectures we talked about linear dependence and linear independence of set of vectors, and we also tried to identify or found some algorithms to identify linearly independent and dependent vectors from a given set of vectors. Now, when we have done all that, so we have some questions in our mind that we have already asked earlier. So some of the questions that we have answered already, and some of them we will be answering by the end of this note. So it says uh, we have a set of vectors, and then uh, if we add all possible linear combination of the vectors in that particular set, in that set, so you have a set of vectors, and then you make certain linear combination of the vectors in that set and put them in the same set. So will that make this set a vector space or not? So that's the first question. uh, will it fill the entire vector space, or will it fill a smaller space? The smaller space, will that be a vector space by itself or not? So in the previous lectures, we found that when we want to prove that something is a subspace of a vector space, since we know that we are generally working in Rn, and Rn is a vector space with respect to normal vector addition and scalar multiplication that we normally define, and the scalar field to be real numbers. So in that sense, we know that Rn is always a vector space. So, and mostly in this particular book and in this particular course, we are mostly talking about this vector space only. So the idea is whether this small set of this vector space, so you have taken some vectors out of that vector space, and you want to know whether linear combination, whether adding linear combination of all those vectors in that set, whether they will make the entire space, whether they will be, okay, may not be the entire vector space, may be a subspace. So essentially, will that make a vector space or not? So the answer is, since when we are going to prove that something is a subspace and we know that the superset of that is a vector space already, then it is it is only we need to prove that the thing is closed with respect to linear combination. So whatever vector space you are taking, whatever set you are taking, if it is closed over linear combination of vectors, then definitely it can be a vector space, it will be a vector space. Because if you are talking about a subspace, the bigger space is already a vector space, you know that. So now other things are going to get inherited properties, but the thing that we need to prove is that whether that is linear, closed over linear combination or not. So if we add all the possible linear combination, it will be definitely closed, and hence we can say that at least it will make a subspace. If not the entire vector space, it may be a subspace. So we can answer that. So the second question was like this only: will that fill the entire vector space or something smaller? So yes, it will be a vector space, maybe smaller vector space, or maybe as large as the uh, biggest vector space in that particular problem or associated to that particular problem. So you cannot move more than Rn. If you have n components in each of the features, each of the sample n features, so you cannot move above Rn. But within Rn, you can be anywhere. So the entire vector space is Rn. The subspace will be containing fewer things, so fewer elements than the entire vector space. So it is always be a subspace. It may be a trivial subspace in the sense that it may be referring to the entire vector space. Now, when we say something is smaller or something is bigger, we are definitely quantifying it, and the quantification should be in such a way that it can be compared. So, so we need to quantify how large a vector space is, or how large a vector space can be generated with respect to or with the help of adding the linear combinations. So we are going to answer these questions in this particular note, in this particular part. So let us see a few more questions that what we are going to see. Till now we have seen the questions when we are expanding our set of vectors. So we are adding more vectors to the set and we are asking the questions about it. Now think about if we can go back, maybe reducing certain vectors, maybe discarding some vectors and keeping a fewer vectors in that set. Like, okay, we can remove the linearly dependent vectors because they can be generated by linear combination of other vectors, so they can be removed. So now once you have removed and no more reduction is possible, will it stop somewhere? When it will stop? Is it some kind of a special set? Is it a unique one? What speciality does it have? So all these questions do arise. And will they be able to generate the entire vector space or not? That's also again a question. The same vector space that can be generated by the initial vectors of the set. So with all these questions, let us start this particular lecture and try to understand few more things. And before going into all these kind of things, let us coin certain terms so that we can easily understand the concepts. So it says like if you have vector space V and there is some set A containing k vectors of the vector space V. Now if the if we add linear combinations of a linear combination of the vectors in A, and if it refers or if it can generate all possible vectors in V, then A is called generating set. So A can is able to generate each and every element of V, then we say that A is a generating set. The set of, and then we talk about a span. The span is again the same thing. So the earlier one was so we are talking about generating set. Now we are talking about a span. So what is a span? A span is the set that can be generated, that can possibly be generated by a set of vectors. For example, if you can generate all possible vectors in vector space V, all possible vectors in this vector space V with the help of the vectors x1, x2, xk in A, then A is span of A is called V. So we write V is equals to span of x1 up to xk. So that could be a very similar thing with respect to the generating set. So if you are saying that A is a generating set, then you say that A is a generating set of vector space V, then V is equals to span of A. So it's exactly same. Now there is another thing that we call minimal generating set. Now when we say minimal means you cannot have lesser than that. There does not exist something which is lesser than that, which means essentially less than A or the smaller than A set is smaller than A. Smaller here we assume that a subset of A, a proper subset of A. There does not exist a proper subset of A whose span is exactly equals to V. So there should not be any subset, a proper subset. So here it is a bit wrong. So it should be something like this. This equality should be crossed. So it should be a proper subset. And if there does not exist any proper subset which can span the same vector space, then A can generate the whole vector space V, then A is called the minimal generating set, because nothing smaller can generate the same set as A can. So this is called generating set. Then the another term is maximally linearly independent. What does it mean? It means we want to add more and more vectors, but they should all be linearly independent of each other. So there should not be a superset of that set which is linearly independent. So you are trying to add more and more vectors and of vector space V, definitely. And if you are not able to add any more, then that is called maximally linearly independent set of vector space V. Now we are going to talk about something called basis, and basis has a very interesting thing. So what basis is? Basis is a quantification of largeness of vector space. So what it is? It says that if you have a basis B, so this is we are representing here the basis with this letter. So B is definitely a subset of vector space V, as contains the vectors of that vector space V. But B is not 5 also, so that is also correct. Now B is a basis of V, it should be equivalent. So if you say B is a basis of V, or you say B is a minimal generating set of V, so it can generate each and every element of V, but it is the smallest set that can generate the entire vector space V. So not a single subset of B can, a proper subset of B can generate entire set V. Then the third thing which is equivalent to this one is saying that it is maximally linearly independent set of vectors in V. So you cannot have any superset of B which can have linearly independent sets or linearly independent set of vectors. So all these three things are equivalent. Let us see the fourth one. The fourth one says if you want to express any vector V in the vector space V, then you can specify it uniquely. So there is a kind of function, you should say a bidirectional function, so invertible function you can say, that so that B a certain linear combinations of V can generate every vector of B, and that linear combination should be unique, should have a unique solution, right? So a particular vectors, a particular combination of vectors in V can generate any vector in V. Now this particular linear combination is also called as coordinate of vector space V with respect to basis B. So that's a interesting thing. So if you take any linearly independent vector, so we know that there is a basis, and if we want to express a particular vector with respect to that basis, we can try to find out what is the right linear combination of those linearly independent vectors that can generate that vector V, and those are called coordinates of V with respect to basis B. So we in the next part, or in the next video, we are going to see some examples of it. Thank you.